But it's not the only thing that's happened to you inside the cockpit. You've had your fair share of interesting experiences over and above taking a wee inside the car. 2015 doesn't hold great memories for you. Could you just explain to some of our listeners, many of whom are British, but will be IndyCar fans, but may not have experienced seen what you experienced in 2015 at Turn 3 in May? Just take us through what happened on that fateful day.
Yeah, so it was a practice session post-qualifying, and just kind of running around in race trim, and had a suspension failure. The right front rocker failed right in the middle of the corner in turn 3, hit the wall at about 220 miles an hour, which isn't good on any day. But to make it even worse, part of the suspension, rather than kind of folding up as suspension normally does when you crash it into a concrete wall, it shot through the tub. It kind of, it's like when you hold an egg end to end, it doesn't break. I think I hit it at perfect angle, and rather than folding, it just got forced through the tub and essentially through me. And for lack of a better term, I was shish kebabbed. And it hit an artery in my left leg, so I was kind of bleeding out on the racetrack there. But through some miraculous work by the safety team and the doctors there at IU Methodist, they managed to find the problem and plug the hole, so to speak. But it was a bit touch and go there, to be honest. I had 22 units of blood pumped into me because I was just leaking it as fast as they could put it in. And to put that in perspective, your body only holds about 11. So I had 2 full oil changes, basically.
It's insane. I mean, we've all seen the footage, and it's scary stuff. But presumably you remember the impact, and do you remember the impact?
No, mercifully, I was so concussed. I was conscious when they got to the car, but I was so concussed, I don't actually remember the hit. So and more importantly, I don't remember the extraction.
I was going to say, because that would have been something that you'd have to live with, from a mental perspective, having going through that experience. So I suppose you're just going on what people have recounted to you who were there helping you at the time. And you mentioned the concussion. It's weird. I actually had a concussion at the weekend, which I'm sort of 4 days into it, but really random. I can't claim it was as exciting as your accident. I was getting rid of some rubbish at my local tip, and the electric boot of my car managed to collect a giant Bluetooth speaker that I put in the back of my car, and took it up with the boot about 1.5 feet up. When I came to the back of the car to get stuff out the back of the car, the speaker fell on my head. But it fell from about 1.5 feet or whatever, 2 feet. But it's a big chunk. It's like a 10-kilo speaker. And I rang the hospital. They were like, yeah, you need to come in. And they said, yeah, you've given yourself really healthy concussion there. And it's a weird feeling, even having it mildly like I did. I felt sick. I was dizzy. My jaw ached. My neck ached. I can't imagine what the recovery would be like at a crash at 230 miles an hour or something like that. What was that recovery like? When did you sort of come around in hospital and think, shit, I'm lucky to be alive, and now I've got to, get my head around racing again?
Yeah, it was probably about 6 or 7 hours after the crash is when I kind of first start coming to. I'd already been in and out of surgery, and my memory was I was driving the car, I was following Montoya, I was in a really good tow, actually. Max knows what it's like. You're on one of those really good tow laps, like, all right, this is a nice PR lap. Yeah. And then I, in a blink, literally a blink of an eye, I wake up, I'm in a hospital on a backboard, neck brace, tube down my throat, staring up at a bunch of bright lights, thinking, all right, this isn't good. Something's gone wrong here. And I was so fuzzy through a combination of, the drugs and the concussion, that as many times as I asked the question of what happened, because it was such a weird injury. I mean, the failure itself was weird in the car. And then the injury that came as a result was, it's never really happened before. So trying to explain a completely foreign concept to someone that's heavily concussed and heavily sedated was a bit time consuming. I feel bad for the people that had to answer those questions originally. And it probably took me a full 3 or 4 days before I grasped and really understood what it was that injured me, why I was hurt. I got that I crashed, fine, but I couldn't understand the injuries for a couple of days. And that started a 4-month process, really, of recovery. The first part was really just rest, because I was very lucky that I didn't break any bones. The suspension missed all bones. It just hit and organs. It really just hit soft tissue, muscle, and then obviously an artery. So it was a solid 2 months of not really doing anything, just kind of letting the body do its thing. And then a month of starting to kind of move a little bit more. And then the final month is when I kind of was able to start training again and getting back into the physical shape required to drive an Indy car, which obviously is not nothing. And sitting around for 2 months, God, it's amazing how quick you lose everything. You know, like every ounce of muscle you've got, every ounce of fitness you've had. It comes back relatively quick, compared to getting it in the first place. But it was, it was a long road.